Yeah, this one, but he said when I see myself, we're all set.
Yeah, I'd wait 1 second and then go.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Groom You. I'm Joanne. So today I decided to do a different episode, and it's probably going to be either in 2 or 3 parts because I have Nancy Cyr here with me, and she's been a dog trainer for over 50 years, and she's been working with me for about 20 years, and she's a registered critical care nurse, and I do grooming, as you all know, and I've been getting a lot of dogs that I've been having a lot of difficult with. There's a lot of dogs that have been coming in for grooming, and I can't get them groomed. And Nancy's been helping me with them. If I can't do them at all, I bring them to, I actually have the client call her and make an appointment with her, and they go see her and they bring the dog to her and she works with them. But now that the coronavirus is here, she has to work with them outside, and she does social distancing, and she is going to take over, and we are going to do 3-part episode, and she is going to teach you about behavioral, and she's going to take over and go over everything here. So this show is going to be very interesting.
Okay, so I've been doing this for over 50 years, been training dogs. I work with all kinds of dogs. I train all kinds of different kinds of training, from obedience to rally, agility, earth dog, which is terrier thing, and tracking. I work with a lot of different dogs. I've worked with most breeds, and over the years, the dogs have taught me, and I've learned from them, and that's why I can teach. I just blanked. So the difficulty and the reason that I'm doing what I'm doing is because people don't know how to raise their dogs. They think of them as this delicate animal. They don't give them criteria. They don't make them understand. And I related to raising a child. You have a child, and if you do what people are doing with their dog now, it means that you would keep that child at home, not teach them anything, and then send them to school where they should be learning ABCs, but they haven't learned how to behave yet. And so they don't learn the ABCs. And that's the difference between what I am teaching you now and the, quote, trainers that are out there. The trainers are the teachers. They expect that your dog is already going to know how to behave. But they don't. So how do you teach them the ABCs? And there's a difference between teaching behavior and teaching training. Training is like the ABCs. It's heel, sit, stay, come, that kind of thing. But the behavior is strictly that. It's behavior. And in order to teach behavior, you have to understand how the dog's brains work and how to do it. There are some people that, like myself, I'm very fortunate that I naturally knew how to train a dog. It came to me naturally. And then as I progressed and worked with more and more dogs and more problem dogs, I learned from them and was able to expand so that I could teach other people. Most people don't have the basic knowledge of how to train a dog, and that's what this session is about. So I'm going to use Joanne as my focus point, and I'm going to start the actual class. The beginning, the first important part of understanding a dog's brain and how to get through to a dog is how you use your voice. There are two different tones in training a dog, in teaching a dog. I don't want to use the word training because that gets confused with the heel, sit, stay, that kind of thing. But this is teaching a dog how to behave, to get through to them. And the first tone is used for correction and stationary commands. That tone is lower, but the most important part of that tone is that it's sharp. You don't say no, you say no. You say stop. It's sharp. They understand that. And stay, sit. That's that tone, and that's what you need for that. Then the other tone that you use is for praising and motion commands. In that tone of voice, it's the opposite. Instead of it being sharp, it's strung out and sing-songy, like come, like good dog, yes. It's also a higher volume of your tone of your voice. Those two tones are very important in communicating with your dog. They will understand strictly by the tone of your voice. Now, in training a dog, timing is everything. If the dog is doing what you don't want, and you say no, and what I find people do is they keep saying no. The dog's not doing it anymore, but you're still saying no, 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 no. Well, the dog's confused now. When I was doing this, you said no, but I'm not doing it anymore, and you're still saying no. What is that? And then the praise part. They're saying good dog, but all of a sudden the dog's not doing it right, and you're still saying good dog. So the dog is confused, understandably. So, the importance, and I want to right now go through the importance of the voice in like teaching the motion command. And I like to use the, I'm going to talk to you as a person. You're a person now. Okay, let's go for a walk. And you go, I don't think so. But if I say, hey, it's a great day, let's go for a walk. Right?
Yep.
Okay. So the timing is such that if a dog is misbehaving and you correct the dog, and I'll show you how to do that in a few minutes, at that point, or you say you're trying to stop the dog from barking, okay? And you say, no, no bark, and the dog stops for a second. You've got a millisecond to get that praise in. Okay, I'm going to tell you another story. And this is, I'm going to teach you something. I'm going to teach you something on the computer, which was ridiculous because I don't do computers, but that's just a little joke. But the bottom line is this. I show you how to do something on the computer. And you start doing it. But you do it wrong. And I say, no, that's wrong. So you try it a different way, and I say, no, that's wrong. And I keep saying, no, no, no. What have you learned? Absolutely nothing. But if I take a second and I show you and you do it right, and I say, that's it, you got it, it's right. Now you've learned something. We don't learn from the correction. The dog doesn't learn from the correction. The correction stops the action. It doesn't teach them anything. What teaches them what you want is the praise. We all learn from praise. And I can tell you right now, I always said that I wish I had learned to train dogs before I had my kids, because I would have been a better parent. We don't praise our kids near enough. But your dog, in order to get through to them and to teach them, you have to give the praise. So, you have a dog that's misbehaving. You stop the action, and I'm going to explain how you do that. The action, like the correction I said, is sharp. And it's got to be sharp. And in that sharp, it's a reflex. It's not hard, it's sharp. You can actually use the side of your hand on their mouth if they're biting you. You can do that without ever hurting them, but it gets their attention. Oh, and it's down, up, like that. And when we work with the leash later on, you'll see that action and how that works, okay? Gets their attention, stops the action. If you're holding the dog, I'm going to use my knee. If you're holding the dog and the dog's struggling, this works 100% of the time if you do it correctly. I use this because I raise dogs. At 5 weeks old, I start training my puppies. And they're in my arms and they're struggling away and they're struggling, and all I do is go like that to them. I'm holding them, I go like that. I don't even have to say anything. They go like that and they stop. It always works, stop. And I like to use the stop word, nice sharp word, stop. And that stops that action. Great. As soon as but I haven't taught them anything, have I? I stop the action. So as soon as that happens and they stop, that's my opportunity to say, good dog. Did you hear the change in my voice? Stop. Good dog. Okay? Now the dog's starting to learn. And it doesn't like that feeling, so it's not going to want to do it again, but it likes the tone of your voice. Okay, now we're going to go into the next part of this understanding the dog's brain. I want you to put your hand out. This hand is the dog, and this is people, what they do. And I want you to take your fingers, and I want everybody to try this. I want you to lightly go over your hands. Isn't that like a creepy feeling? It's creepy. But what do we do to dogs? Here's my dog, Sassy, come. Everybody goes to the dog, and they go like this. And the dog goes, ugh, because it's creepy feeling. Good girl, Sassy. Now take your hand and firmly go over your hand. Isn't that comforting?
Much
Try
better.
it yourself at home. It's comforting. It gives you security. It makes you feel good. Okay? So, when you're working with your dog, Sassy, come. The patting is not like this. It's firm. Especially if you have a dog that is a nervous dog, insecure. It's very important. That touch is so important. It's vital. So now you've gotten your dog under control. Here's my dog. It's under control. And I go, good dog. See what my thumb is doing? I'm holding their head, their body, but my thumb is giving that firm patting, gives them the security, and they're getting praise. So which would they rather do? Struggle and be naughty, or get that praise, that good feeling? Of course they're going to want the good feeling. Okay? Okay. So, the importance of timing, and I can't emphasize this enough to everyone. The dog's brain works in milliseconds. With a child, or a human, our brain, we teach them something, we expect them to do it, we watch them to make sure they do it. They don't do it, we correct them. Most of the time we don't praise them. We should, but we don't. But we expect them, and we'll wait to see if they're going to do it right. with the dogs, their brain doesn't work that way. It's this is wrong and this is right. And it comes that fast. Their brains work in milliseconds. Okay, so something came to my mind and left again, but it'll come up again. Okay, so the dog, you've gotten through to the dog that it has to behave. I'm still trying to process what I want to say next. Okay, it'll come back again. Okay, so now we have the dog that was fighting and out of control, and we are what? We are and have to be the boss of the dog. We have to show them what their place is in life. Let me just take a peek at this. Okay. Let's talk about how we communicate, which is the same way the dog does. We communicate through our eyes. You're looking at me, you're looking at my eyes, I'm looking at your eyes. I know what you're thinking, I know whether you're nervous or whether you're just thinking or angry by looking at your eyes. And the dogs are the same. So eye contact with a dog is very, very important. Sassy, come here. Yeah. Oops. Okay, I'm going to get down here. I think that's okay. Where my dog is. Sassy, come. Okay. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to do eye contact. Now, the best way to control the dog is to have a plain collar on your dog. You slip your finger, especially a dog that's struggling and trying to get away from you. You get your fingers under that collar. You're a good girl. You hold that bone here at their jaw. Now I have control. Obviously, my dog is not struggling with me because she knows better. And I am looking in her eyes. It's a good girl. Do you see what this finger is doing? Firmly patting the dog. Now, my dog obviously doesn't need that because she knows me, but this is, when I work with a strange dog, this is the first thing I do, is get my fingers under the collar, or a dog that's struggling, even if it's your own dog, and you hold that head. Now, a dog that hasn't been taught its place will be struggling and pulling their head away, and you're not going to allow it. You don't ever allow any behavior except the behavior that you're trying to get. So you look into the dog's eyes. First, they'll start pulling their head away. You hold that head solid, facing you. Then the dogs go, well, I don't want to look at her because then I'll have to communicate, and I don't want to communicate with her, so I'm going to start moving my eyes around. So what I do is I follow the dog's eyes around so they can't get away from me. So I will win. I'm the boss. And then as soon as I get an eye contact, I go, good dog. That's very good. Good, look at me. Yes, good dog. And look at what I'm doing with my fingers. So now I have a dog that was, some of them trying to bite me, and I have to stop them from doing that, prevent that from happening, but I can because I have this control. I am holding on for dear life sometimes because I don't want to get bit, but I have to teach this dog that it can't bite. You can't live with a dog that bites. No one can. People tell me all the time, I'm afraid of my dog. Well, here's the problem. That's a good girl. Stay. Right here. Stay. Now, you see this dog is staying because she's trained. That's the difference between, that's what I'm saying, this is training versus teaching behavior. Okay? My mind wandered again. Okay. That's what happens when you get old, your mind wanders. Except I use that as an excuse now. I always had this problem. So we have a dog that's fighting, that's pulling away, that doesn't want to be controlled, doesn't like what you're doing to him, and you're saying, no, you are going to do this. And when, as soon as they give in, you get that praise and good dog. You might only get that 1 second, and then they're acting up again, and you've got to control them. That stop action works really good. Hold on for dear life, hold it for, hold the bone, but you have to win. And that is the bottom line here, that we have to teach them that we are the alpha, we are the boss. So at this point, I'm going to go into, how much time do we have?
We have 7 minutes. So we actually have, when it's 5 minutes, and I'll let you know.
Okay. We have, I have time to teach this now in this part. Because it's important to understand and understanding the dogs and the dog's brain. You need to understand, number one, is that the dogs are pack animals. And in a pack, you have the hierarchy, which is the alpha, which is about this many breeds. Let's take all the different kinds of dogs and put them into one pack. This much is the alpha. And in the alpha, we have the alpha dog, but we have the ones, all group of dogs under them that are alpha wannabes. All these dogs are constantly under stress because they either want to keep their position or they want to get there, and so there's all that tension, that stress is there. But it's not bad stress. There was a study many years ago, because I'm a critical care nurse, for critical care nurses, and studying their stress and how that affects their body. And what they learned was that if you had the right personality, which I obviously did, that stress was good stress. It did good stuff for your body. If you didn't have the right personality, it was bad stress. So that group of dogs, that's good stress for them. That's how they live. What group of dog is all 99% of the time in that category? Is your terriers. They're the alpha dogs. Okay? That's that. That sweet little calm dog here is in this alpha if I allowed her to be. Okay. The next group of dogs is the biggest group, and that's your golden retrievers. Most of your sporting dogs, most of the dogs that we have are at one level in that center group. And the other dogs, they don't really worry about who's boss and who's not. They do little stuff in the middle, but they don't worry about it. They just go on with their life. They're the slobs, you know. They love everybody, love everything. Yeah, they're the easygoing dogs. Don't worry about anything. And then the saddest group is the bottom. And thank God it is a small group. It is a group of dogs that is timid, afraid. Your fear biters are in this group. And they will cower if there's a program that I watched that was about a pack of lions, and there was a lioness that wanted to get into the pack. They rolling on her side, they're sniffing it. It's a sad group. When I get a dog in that group, I bring them up. I don't bring them into the high level of the center, but I bring them up. I don't let them cower, and we'll be talking about that later more but if you understand those groups of dogs, and by the way, your toy dogs are mostly the ones in the lower section. So after, in the next section, we will go into more how to handle this and why this evolves, etc. But that's important to understand that they're pack animals, and different breeds have different brain activity that make them act different. And would you take a terrier really and send them to doggy daycare? I don't think so. So in the future, when we come back, I will show you how I handle my terrier dogs going into a group of dogs. And we'll go into more of the training and how to handle these dogs. We don't want any dog to ever be at the very bottom. That's very, very sad. I don't want to ever see a dog that is afraid. So we'll go into how to take care of that later.
Okay, we'll wrap this one up. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. We got your next episode coming up. I hope everybody enjoyed this episode. You've seen Nancy, she's wonderful. Anybody has any problems with their animal, you can contact me, and hopefully you'll learn from here and you won't have to contact her. Follow her directions. She's wonderful. If you get a puppy, listen to everything she has to say, because I drive her crazy. Have a nice day, and I hope you enjoy my next episodes. Thank you.
Good.
I do drive.